Okay, so the cross section that I'm going after first would be this triangular shaped one. It's 3/4 here and 3 inches and 1/4 inch right up there at the top. And then eventually the cross section in the center here is this one right here, and this cross section is all the way over there. So this is the first one that I'm after, and I'll go after 2 reference points first. So I'll go after a back and then the bottom. And I like the bottom and the back of my combs to be sort of square, and that way the back of the comb is in line with the spindle as it comes down out of the comb. The spindle's not hitting the comb at a different angle to the back of it. So that's what I'll go after first. Okay, so I'm going to start out in the radial plane here. It's easier to cut in than the tangential plane, and start out in the radial, and I'm going to get a kind of a flat face here, but I'm following the wood fibers. That's the key to all of this, is following these wood fibers. So if that piece is crooked like that, it's going to be crooked whenever I get it finished. And then I'm going to steam it, and I'm going to bend that crook out of it. But all those long wood fibers are going to be intact. There's a few reasons for that. One is it's stronger, but the other is workability. I can work it either way with the draw knife. So I believe this is the side that I chose for that. The draw knife I'm using here is a Barton, an 8-inch Barton. It's a large, thick knife, an old knife, and it's one that I use to rough out stock with because it's got a little bit more heft to it. And it's a bevel up knife, which I like to, and if you want to know about those, I've got videos shot on bevel up, bevel down, sharpening the draw knife, all that, so you can go to that and see that. But so anyway, see how this is cut. So in taking a cut this wide, you want to do a little bit of skewing, like that, and some slicing as much as possible, and that will make it easier to pull across this wide surface. I believe I got that side right there done. Alright, that's a nice knife. I just love the chance to use it every time. So there we go. I've got that one surface that is kind of smooth and kind of flat, which is what I'm looking for. And now I'm going to go for the bottom. Now this is one of the only places when I'm working with a draw knife, when I'm working with split stock, where I don't necessarily follow the wood fibers. On this one it's going to work out pretty good. It's pretty straight, but on this bottom I want it to be straight, so I'll cut across some wood fibers if I have to. So the first thing I'm going to do is rough it out with the draw knife, and then I'm going to run a little forward plane across it. Let me adjust my shaving horse here. That's it. That sapwood I was telling you about that's no good, and it's kind of brash, hard to cut. So it cuts like that. Plus you're in the tangential plane, cuts a little harder. Well, let's see how we're looking there. Oh, pretty good, pretty good. And I'm trying to kind of get it square with that, at least just by eye. Okay, so that's good enough to now hit it with the block plane, or the forward plane, excuse me, not the block plane. Get a little hump out of it here in the middle. Yeah. Now I'll go ahead and I'll do that in a few minutes, but you could do it right now. You could straighten that out with the plane right now if you want. But since I'm sitting on the shaving horse and I've got it really close, I'm going to go ahead and put this at about 3 1/8. Look at that. I don't even need to cut anything. I'm there. And you only need it right in the center. And that's where it's 3 1/8. It falls off down here on the plan, and it falls off on the actual piece. So don't have to do much. Don't have to do much there. Okay, so first I'll just give me a little bit of surface up here to where I can mark it with the marking gauge. And so this top ends up at 1/4 inch in the first part of the operation. And the bottom is 3/4. Now I can just cut right down to that line. Okay. So you want to get this as flat as you can, because you'll end up getting kind of a rolled surface, but try to get that draw knife flat down on it. Pull and make it as flat as you possibly can. If you have to, take a straight edge and put it on it. Then, you don't have to get it perfect, but the least crown that you have on it, the better. Okay, so I'm down to the line on both sides now, and if you look real close, you don't have to look too close because you can see it real easy. You still see the crook is still in there. I followed that with the draw knife, and we've got 3/4 here, 1/4 here, 3 inches this way, and this is going to be the back right here. So I'll put a big B for back on that, and this is square to that, or I'll check it and see if it's square to it, and I may tweak it a little bit with the hand plane. Alright, so I'm going to true this just a little bit with the plane, and it doesn't have to be perfect. I just like that bottom flat, so when you see it in the chair, it's nice and even all the way across. So So I'm just using this jack plane here, and it'll be good enough. And that's probably, that is good enough right there. So there's the back, got the face right here. I'm going to lay it out from the face side, and I've got all kinds of combs for this chair, and that's not even including the ones with the carved ears on it. But I don't use hardly any of these. These are all different prototypes that I went through trying to get the exact right shape that I wanted. And who knows, I may change again on it. But right now, this is the one that's on the plans. So if I let's see, so let's just find the center of this thing to be fine, or close to the center. And we'll need these when we bend and when we bore, so we want to keep that center line intact. Now, for those of you who would like to do the carved volutes, you can go to the comeback video, and I show how to lay those out and carve them. And it'd be just identical to this right here. The pattern's a little different, but the carving's the same. So. Okay, I didn't mark where the post should go. And so like it's shown on the plans, the difference, this measurement right here between the center line and the post is the most important measurement. All this is fluff out there. You can do whatever you want to with it. You just keep that. Got that off a little bit there. There we go. That's pretty ratty line. So you can saw this out with a bandsaw. If you don't own a bandsaw, you can actually cut it out with the draw knife. I just make a cut straight down through there and just whittle that thing out with the draw knife. You can even cut that with the draw knife if you just saw it off right there and cut it. I think I showed that in the comeback video. But I think I'll take this over and saw this out on the bandsaw, and we'll be ready to go to the next stage. Alright, so now I'm ready to take it back to the shaving horse with the draw knife, and I'll roll it from about right here back up, and it'll eventually come to nothing up here, and then it will open up down here, and you've got to kind of connect this spot with this spot, which the way I do that, so here's the comb right here, is there's a cut. You can see the cut run right like that and then blend into here, and so this is beveled back right in through there. And if you leave that edge where it's fairly crisp, then when you paint it and rub through the paint, it shows it up really nice. So maybe we can show you a close-up of that, and then I'll true that with the with the spokeshave, and this one will be ready to put in the steam box to bend. Okay, so I'm going to roll this part right here over first. And of course the reason I can just cut with kind of reckless abandon right here and not worry about anything splitting out is because I followed the long wood fibers whenever I was shaping it to begin with, and that's what it enables you to do. So now I'm coming down into this little point here where we have to connect this part with this part, and I got to do these stop cuts because we're down in the trough there, and I can't come out of that. We'll split right across that, but I roll it back, and now I'm going to come right off of that point by pushing the draw knife, and you know, I don't have a lot of strength pushing the thing, so I use a slicing and skewing action. So get that nice gentle roll there and leave that little edge intact for the paint to pick up. And then let's see if I can take this out without cutting into the other side. So you see how much of the blade I'm using there. And maybe just a little bit there. And those are finished cuts right there. Those will be in the final product. So I'll flip it around and do this other side while you aren't looking. So I'm finished with the draw knife, and I switched draw knives on you and didn't tell you. This is a Witherby, another one of my favorite knives, Barton's and Witherby's. This one's a 8-inch. It's a beveled down knife. You can let's let the lawnmower people go by. It's a beveled down knife, which enables me to get in that curve like that. And once again, if you want to see about how to maintenance a beveled down knife or a bevel up knife, go to the draw knife videos. So I'm ready to go to the spokeshave, and I've got an old Stanley number 58 here. The 51s are real common, and you can tune those up to where, in fact, I even show how to tune one of them up. They're great. They're great, but this 58 is kind of rare, and it's got flatter handles out there. It's not rare, but you don't find them like you do the 51s. So just clean this up just a little bit. And it won't get into here. That's why I said those are the finished cuts, those draw knife cuts. But I'll leave this top with a little bit of a flat on it because I'll be beating on it, getting the chair together. And then after the chair's all glued up, I'll come back with the spokeshave and clean it up. It took me a while to learn that. I'd make that a nice little knife edge, and then I'd put the chair together and beat it to pieces, and then have to come back and fix it. So I learned after a couple of hundred. So we got that. Now I want to true that up before I bend it. It's a little bit easier to, let's see if that'll fit. Yeah, that'll fit right there. So this shaving horse is designed and made by Tim Manning, M-A-N-N-E-Y. You can find him on the internet. You can find his blog. He shows you how to make it. You got to really skew this on this end grain. But if you can do it without getting chatter, you get a real pretty look. Of course, you can do it with file too. It just doesn't quite have the character that the spokeshave cuts have. The more you get around to the end grain, the harder it is to cut it. Let's see. Gotta go one more time here. And I like to keep this point right here distinct too. I don't like it rounded right down there at the bottom. You might like it rounded. They do it a lot of different ways. Okay, there we go. So just finish up the bottom of this side right here, and it'll be ready to go into the steam box, and we'll bend it.